about transportation, what they've done in the past in my mission, and I mean it's been a year. They probably still do the same thing. What they'll do is in the city they'll give you like a city pass, which gets you on all the buses and all the trains for 30 days. And so once you get into an area, you basically try and figure out where all the bus routes are and all the train routes are, and try and master them so that you can get to where you need to go like the quickest way. And in Manhattan, I guess it kind of depended on the areas. Some areas were larger and smaller, and I know they constantly change. But there's this one area in the Bronx where, like, if we were to, just for some reason, the way the bus routes worked, it's like we had to like zigzag up to get to like a specific area, and it would take us like 30 or 40 minutes to get up there. But then I had an area in Manhattan that you could ride a train, and we had like 3 stops on the train, and then that was it. So, and the stops are about every like 9 or 10 blocks. So we only had about like 20 or 25 blocks, I think, north, and it just as wide as the island was, so, which wasn't very much. But yeah, it makes it. I had a really good time. I liked riding on the subway trains, because I mean you see people from everywhere. Because there are some people that like live in one borough but they work in another borough, and so they'll ride just the metro, the underground system, for like over an hour or so to get to work. And so you see people just like it's just like a shuffling of people, which is kind of cool. And the nice thing about that is that people are sitting there for a while, at least until the next stop, so you have that much time just to talk to them and to contact them a little bit, share a little bit about the gospel, which is kind of cool. And then there's also always crazy people on the train. There'll be like people that'll come in, and sometimes there's like teenagers that are selling snacks, and they'll try and get you to buy snacks from them for $1, or there'll be people that are performing on the trains trying to get money. I think one time I saw like, it wasn't a very big dance troupe, it was like 2 or 3 guys that were just like did some like dance moves in between the train stops, which is kind of impressive because the train's rocking and like going pretty fast. And most people lose their balance, but those have like their own like little dance routine that they set up, and I don't know, it's kind of cool. And then the buses, if you go like at a bad time, they're just always so packed. Like, and it's not as bad as I've heard of some people in other countries, but like you end up just being like smashed up into one area, and you're like just trying to grab onto something so you don't fall off. Because then they do have seats, but I mean, like a lot of people are actually pretty like hospitable, and they'll try and give them to like the older people that get on the train, or I mean on the bus, or like people that have walkers, or I don't know, just the seniors. Which was kind of cool to see too. That just even some hardened people that in New York, when they would see like an old lady get on the bus, they would get up and offer her seat, which was cool. I think, and then just about the weather. I just thought of this, but the adage "when it rains, it pours" it really applies in New York. That where I'm from in Alaska, when it rains, it usually just kind of like sprinkles or dust. Like it never like hardcore rain, but the rain in the city just tends to like come at you sideways, so that you're just like holding your umbrella and you get like soaked from like your knee down, and then the rain piles up really quickly in the streets, and so it'll run along into like the gutter system. But even though it's almost like small rivers that are going through. But it's not super rainy all the time. Like it'll just be like a rainy season, usually like it's like in August or something, and then snow just depends on the year. Because the 2 years I was there, it snowed like twice. Once winter, and then the other winter I was upstate and it snowed. I don't know, probably just a handful of times, but then this last winter I heard from my friends still in the mission, and they had just gotten pounded with snow just all winter long. So it just kind of depends on the year. And in the summer it gets up to, I want to say like 90 degrees, 85. No, it gets up to like 100. I'm trying to remember I was in one area where we had a car that had had the thermometer in it, so we could tell how hot it was outside. And that also, it just fluctuates. It's not like there's one of the summers was hotter than the other, so it just kind of depends.